Yo guys, what is up? This is Tom from Unreal Man and welcome back to a new video. I usually don't make this type of videos, but many beginners struggle with this, so I thought I'm gonna share some techniques with you how you can improve your architecture renders. So I have PureRef open here. It's a free software. Just download it and you can put reference in it. And we start at the top left corner. So we see some pictures with a lot of concrete. In modern architecture, very much concrete is used. So if you are making renders and using materials like wood or stuff, you have to make a different approach. We see in this top left corner how wood is used. So we have this wood planks, they look all the same and they have almost like no texture here. Yeah, and this is very different from what we see above, because you can't really use wood with concrete that well, and not on exteriors but more like interiors. So don't use wood or ceramic tiles, something that's not that modern, but try to use materials like rough concrete. You see some smooth concrete as well. And yeah, we have those smooth tiles here as well, and they are big. Use big tiles, not like small ones. That is old, that looks like old as well, from the 90s. And yeah, many big tiles are used in modern architecture. You can see them here as well. And here's marble used, like very bright marble, and it looks like raw as well, like this. Nothing is painted or stuff, it's just concrete here. And this is a pretty intense example because we have only like concrete here and the ground, and only like gray colors. I made these, and only like gray colors here and some brighter yellowish colors, and not a big contrast. For nice renders, I would recommend having a contrast. This is nice because of the composition and also the elements, but try to pick a color palette that has a nice contrast between two main colors like green and blue. You can also see some green here and in this picture as well. But the sky in this one is not that blue. If you zoom in, it's actually like gray, and on these pictures as well looks more gray. So maybe try to use a bit more blue for the contrast, like in these pictures above. This is a bit too teal for me, but it's only my opinion. And just try to implement some colors in your render. I think this is a very nice render because we have this orange and teal contrast here, and very dark areas, and also bright blown out areas. And this looks like a nice photograph, and also this could be a rendered scene. So try to get those blown out highlights, maybe dark tones, dark bluish tones, and then you get nice renders. Just try to make it photorealistic and not that flat so it looks like a render. And for that, I would recommend to color grade your footage. So if you're doing a video, you could like color grade in DaVinci Resolve. And if you're making photos, you can color grade in Lightroom. Yeah, I would always recommend that after rendering. And yeah, that were the main things over these pictures. Also try to not use that saturated colors. You can see the green here is color graded. That's not natural. It's like very saturated, and in the background it's not that saturated and all the same color, and this looks not that nice. So don't do that. But I think this is a pretty nice example. You have flat colors but also like dark tones here, and this just looks pretty nice. It looks smooth, and you have this blur here, and I really like this picture. Of course, shout out to all the photographers. Yeah, so we move on to the right side, and these are renders. Yeah, so if you look at them, they look like photos. So let's talk about the first one. You can see the color palette was used, I made here for you. So we have blue and we have those bright yellowish colors. And yeah, you can see white backgrounds. I really like this. This looks like a hotel at a beach. You can see this photorealistic lighting like you have here. You have these very sharp shadows and bright colors. They are also blown out here. You can see this. It looks like photograph and not like a render. And just try to make the materials as realistic as possible, and also use the colors that I mentioned, and you will get a pretty nice render. And I think this is color graded as well, because you can see at the sky, this is darker on the top and more bright on the bottom. And we move on to the next render. So here where green color is more used, so we have this contrast of this green and yellow, and also as well here some more cyan or teal with this warm color, and that just gives a really nice contrast. And smooth materials were used, so nothing with that much texture as I mentioned, but you got the texture on the grass. And this is a nice contrast as well. Sky looks very realistic. And yeah, also you have this bright and dark contrast. Just try to implement this in your renders and you will get pretty nice results. Okay, we move on to the last render. In this one, the trees are very realistic. We have also blur on trees and the house is in focus. And again, we have like more smooth textures, some rough textures, and the grass also gives that nice contrast. And you can see how the materials are here very well created. We really see the normal maps and displacement maps. Like on this one, you have those shadows and it looks like rough concrete. That is pretty nice. And just try to make it one color. And again, we have green with some blue and more yellowish colors. And yeah, this is just what I wanted to say. Maybe those tips help you. So everything short now. Try to use contrast in your pictures, modern materials. Try to make the materials as realistic as possible. Set up your camera with some grain and color grade the pictures in the end. And I think this really helps you to get nice results. And if yes, leave a thumbs up. If not, leave a thumbs down. I'll see you next time and bye.